the live stream. Let's get started here. Let me get the music going, and we are going to get this party started. This makes up for not going live tomorrow because like I said, usually move the live stream to Tuesday to not interfere with Monday Night Football, but now we're going live earlier to not interfere with it as well because tomorrow I'm working literally the entire day. It might be a 20-hour day tomorrow, so I thought I should go live tonight so that I'm not behind schedule come Wednesday. So right now, let's look at the markets right now. The crypto fear and greed index is currently sitting at fear at 45. Wow, we're back in fear for the first time in a while. That is something to take note of. Again, unless you get really close to the single digits, like 10 or below, I really don't worry about buying more. I'm always accumulating more Bitcoin. And in fact, I was supposed to buy more Bitcoin today. For some reason, it didn't happen, so I do need to look into that and make sure at least next time I buy more or not. I don't buy much, especially in a bull market, maybe $100 or so, maybe just over $100 a week. And then once in a while, if we get a nice dip, like right now we're getting a nice dip, maybe now I buy $1,000. But that's kind of how my strategy. And if Bitcoin gets back above 118,000, which we haven't done yet, if we get back above 118,000, to me that'd be pretty bullish, and that's when I would buy another 1,000. But because we're below it, it makes me actually kind of want to buy 1,000 here versus at 118. So we'll see what happens. But I do need to look into why that didn't go through today. But right now, Fear and Greed is at 45, something to take note of. Welcome 1872 to the live stream. By the way, we're live on YouTube and TikTok as well. If you want to see the entire screen and my pretty little face, well, you can go over to YouTube and check me out there. So let's look at, now let's go over and look at Bookmap. Right now, on the left, you have the weekly time frame. On the right, you have the daily. So on the weekly, you still have a lot of liquidity at 125, 130, which suggests to me that the bull market's not over. That's one of the reasons I don't think it's over. And then on the right, like I've said before, you have some liquidity up here at 118, which makes me a little bullish. But I think we're still going to go at least retest 110, and also a significant level to the downside would be about 111.3. That's where the weekly 21-day moving average is sitting at. But 110,000 looks like that was the previous all-time high from the beginning of this bull run. That looks like we might tap that. That'd be an awesome place to buy. And if the low of this current dip is 110,000, you have to understand that that's actually really bullish because that'd be a higher low on the weekly time frame. Remember the last time we got oversold on the weekly time frame was around 80,000, and now it'd make a higher low around 110K or even 107,000 is still very bullish to me. I guess you did get down to 107, so that'd be your higher low. So we'll see what happens. But to me, this is bullish. Like, again, you got down to what, 75,000? Then you made a higher high ever so slightly, and now you might be trying to make a higher low. Weekly is getting oversold, making a higher low. So your previous low was 75. If your new higher low is 107, that's very bullish. The trend is currently still very much to the upside on the macro time frame. So if you're worried about what's going on in price action, I would say as long as we hold, I would really like to see Bitcoin hold 107. But if you don't hold 107, as long as you hold 75,000, it's still a higher low. So well, we're going to deep dive into what's going on, but I really like what I'm seeing on the monthly time frame. I'm sorry, on the weekly time frame. That's a higher low. Price action is about to touch the 21-day moving average. That's a good sign. Right now, the 21 is currently at 111,337. So if we saw a test of that level, to me, that's actually pretty bullish. But again, you haven't been far away from the 21 for very long. You've only closed, what, 2 entire candles above it? So I don't think we weren't that far away from it in the grand scheme of things. But right now, Bitcoin looks very bullish to me. Again, 21 coming into price action, that's a great sign. So the weekly time frame looks good to me. We do. Something to take note of is that we do have a sell signal on the weekly time frame. So on the money flow, that's not a great sign. That suggests that we could get a bigger dip. But as of right now, I'm still not that worried. Let me jump down to the 3-day time frame. 3-day doesn't have a sell yet, but this could become a rising wedge here, or maybe we're trying to break down out of that rising wedge. That would not be good for Bitcoin. Now, again, if we're about to enter the bear market, I don't think we are, but if we are about to enter the bear market, that's fine by me. Does this 3-day rising wedge dump us back down to $100,000 on Bitcoin? Again, if the low is 100,000 on the 3-day time frame or on the weekly, it's still a higher low because the previous one was 75,000. So, there's a lot of ways you can look at this. You could say that's a rising wedge on the 3-day. You could say that this is a falling wedge on the 3-day and you're just breaking out. And there's a lot of different ways you can look at this. So if the rising wedge breaks down, that would be a lower low. That's bad. If the falling wedge breaks up, that would take you Bitcoin back to 100, or it would take it Bitcoin to 135,000 new all-time highs. So here's your falling wedge scenario. Here's your rising wedge scenario. But I would say if you're breaking out this falling wedge, you can't really dump. You can't make a lower low below 107. So Bitcoin loses $107,000. That's very bearish to me. So we'll see what happens. But to me, at this point, I see Bitcoin likely coming down to about $100,300, and that would be a lower low below 107. So weekly time frame still looks good. If we go down to 100,000 and get the massive bounce back to 135K, that's still very bullish. Daily looks trying to make a higher low here, so we'll see. There's still a lot in the air. Though that is the bearish and that is the bullish scenario, the two different scenarios I just aligned for you. I'm not currently in any Bitcoin trades. The 12-hour time frame is oversold. The 8-hour time frame is oversold. Some of the worries that I do have is right now the Bitcoin just lost a 12-hour 200-day moving average. That's not a good sign. If you lose a 12-hour, your next stop really would be the daily sitting at 103.6, which suggests to me that Bitcoin is going to head back down towards $100,000. So I'm going to call it right now. I see Bitcoin eventually getting down to $100,000. I believe the low is not in yet for this current Bitcoin dip, and I think the next top is 110. Then you're looking really for 107, and then 103, and then 100,000. So I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it looks like there is some news coming tomorrow from the government. So I've heard. I have not confirmed that, but it does look to me like Bitcoin wants to head lower. And then if you look at this currently, this is like a bear flag on the 1-hour time frame for Bitcoin, which suggests that Bitcoin's going to continue to roll over here. So we'll see what happens. I see downside for Bitcoin short term and kind of for the next month or so. Remember, September is usually bearish. For the next week, I could see more downside. But if we go down to 100,000, I would predict, that's only 13% away, but I would predict that it takes longer than a week to happen. But we'll see. Right now, I have a bear flag on Bitcoin taking you down to 107.7, and I just said you have to hold that level at 107,000. Otherwise, that's going to be a lower low on like the 4 hours. So we'll see what happens. I see Bitcoin headed down for the rest of the night. Let me look at the 15-minute time frame. If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below. You can see that the half-hour time frame, the 1-hour time frame, and even the 15 are all overbought. All overbought and making lower highs. 15 trying to get some kind of low in. 10-minute trying to get some kind of rally in. But I would... let me look at the 5-minute really quickly. 5-minute trying to get a bounce here. So I could see a local bounce here off 112,639 going back to the top of the channel. But at the end of the day, I would say this. If Bitcoin can crack 113.1, then we could be looking for signs of a larger reversal. Until we break 113.1, I would still be looking for downside on Bitcoin for the rest of the night. So can you break out of this falling wedge here on the 5-minute time frame? If not, if Bitcoin cannot break $113,100 tonight, I see more downside, probably down to 107.7. If Bitcoin can get back above 113.1, then I could really see at least a move back to close to 114,000. But at the end of the day, even if we go back to 114, that's still not great on the higher time frame. So I'm not loving what I see on the charts. We must at least short term on the 5-minute break 113.1 for any signs of a larger reversal. Otherwise, I see Bitcoin maybe getting another few $1,000 drop in the next day or so. So appreciate you guys with the likes. It does help support the channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for the follow. So yeah, let me see if there's any requests. How's it going, Chad Jeets? How's it going? Yeah, so I should do a sound check on YouTube. I did forget to do that, so let me do that really quickly. It does look like the sound is working. I always want to make sure. So yeah, that's kind of what I see going on right now. Appreciate the likes on YouTube, and I see Bitcoin. Maybe the 5-minute can save us right now. Can we hold the 5-minute 200-day moving average? But again, the larger time frames scare me a lot. Bitcoin is above the 1-minute 200, so I do see signs of a reversal if we can break 113.1. If we don't break 113.1, it's going to be a bearish night. If we crack 113.1, we can have a small rally into tomorrow, probably back to 114. If we don't crack 113.1 though in the next hour, I would say I'd be looking for probably sometime by the end of the week $108,000 to $107,000 on Bitcoin. So my target to the downside, if this 1-hour bear flag does break down, is 107,000, basically 108K. So that's my update, guys, and I see more downside for Bitcoin right now. If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below. Suncoin was one I did try along. It did initially get a nice spike up. I didn't sell that. I thought about it. I didn't. I hoped Sun was going to make a higher low. It didn't, and I I don't know what happened with that. I think I broke even on that trade. Yeah, I did. So whatever. I'm gonna move on. It could still break out though. It really looks like Sun Token still is kind of bullish here. Um, but I don't know, man. I'm all good. Like this to me, like this is kind of making this could become a yeah. I don't know. It's a higher low. That can't be a descending triangle. I don't know what's gab. It's kind of wacky price action on Sun Token. So to me, at this point, I'm gonna be done with this token. I'm gonna delete it from my watch list, and we're gonna move on to the next one. So same thing with Vana. That's just kind of shitty price action. It pumped all the way up to $5.60, then it dumped all the way back down below the 21-day moving average, which is fine, but down to 410, that's like a 20% dump. It's down 60% in one day. I'm all set. This is a new one I did see. It looks like it's really struggling. This is a $20 million market cap. It's something I just heard about today. It's called Zebra Bro. I have no clue what this is. Or no, it's called yeah, Zebra Bro. It's bizarre. I don't know what it is. It's probably a really shitty meme coin that has not done well. The daily time frame is below the 200. So, if I was entering any trades on this, they'd be very short time frame positions because you are barely above the 15-minute 200-day moving average, but barely. So I do have a trade on this open right now. My stop is at 19.8. We have not touched that level. We're really trying to hold 20 as support. But again, like it's just sketchy. So at this point, the most I can lose on this trade is $21. I don't exactly go heavy on crazy meme coins, but if this thing pumps, and this is the low down here, then I could make quite a bit of money. So we'll see what happens. It's a shitty meme coin at best. AV&T has been a very hot coin. I see AV&T consolidating. This is a higher low on the stock site on the 4-hour, and this could get a rip to $4 at some point. If we could make some kind of ascending triangle here and just kind of fill out this flag, that would be very bullish price action. And then sometime maybe by the 5th, in 2 weeks, probably a week, we could see a bigger move to $4. But I'd be surprised if in less than 2 weeks we don't see $4. So we'll see what happens. I am currently long on that with my stop loss at 1.8, and we'll see what happens with that. Going back to Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin doing? Yeah, Bitcoin's struggling. Again, I think at this point it's most likely we break down, but we'll see. I said we have to crack 113.1 in the next hour. If we don't do that, I really do see Bitcoin going to 110 and 108. So that is just how I see it. That's my analysis on the markets. Thank you guys for the likes on TikTok. I appreciate it. AVAX chart, please. We can definitely go look at AVAX. Let's go, let's look at AVAX. AVAX on the daily. What is AVAX doing on the daily time frame? What happened here? Okay, so you're above the 200 moving average. That's coming in at $22 basically. You're well above it actually. That kind of ripped. That's a crazy wick though. 4-hour candle looking bullish to me. So I see AVAX probably pumping. AVAX looks like you could get a pump out of this tonight and get some love. Hold on a second on TikTok. I'll be right back. So AVAX to me looks pretty bullish to me for a continuation to the upside. So AVAX, I see a pump coming on AVAX to approximately $40.10, and we'll see what happens. But AVAX looks like you could get a move to the upside tonight. Stock side is getting extended pretty fast, but I think 6-hour looks pretty bullish to me. 8-hour looks bullish to me. It didn't get oversold all the way. AVAX looks like you could make a high up to about $39. So we'll see what happens. AVAX does look bullish to me, so thank you for that request. It looks pretty good. Pretty good. It's actually very bullish. Like the 4 time frame is well above. I mean, you got Tesla at 200 right there on that crazy wick, but you got a strong bounce. And at this point, AVAX looks like, I don't want to say it's going to go parabolic, but it looks like you could make some okay money on it tonight. So that's not financial advice, but AVAX looks very bullish to me at this point. I love to look at the daily all the way down to like the 1 minute time frame, depending on how crazy price action is getting. And I love looking at the 1 minute time frame for like day trades, and then I look at when things start to go parabolic like this on the smaller time frames. I look for the 1 minute to lose at 21, which is a blue line, and when that happens, I'm out of the trade. And that's kind of how I take profits on intraday trades. Anyways, long story short, AVAX looks like you could pump here. You already got the 1 minute flag pumping to the upside. Have you hit the measured move yet on the 1 minute? No. So AVAX short term looks like you could get a move to about 33.8. You're pretty close though, right? But I would be looking for 33.8 to be resistance at this point, at least on the 1 minute. Like at least this can stock RSI can get oversold once you hit that level. That's kind of how I see it tonight though. Bitcoin looks awful. AVNT looks bullish, but Bitcoin dumps a 108. This thing is probably going to dump as well. Bitcoin, AVAX just pumped. So at this point, now you could be looking for a pullback, but maybe you just keep ripping. We'll see. AVAX looks good to me. I might have to add this to my watch list. Like the 4 hour time frame suggests that you're about sometime tonight or tomorrow morning, you're going to go up to $39. So, maybe we're not even close to being done. This just goes parabolic up to $39, $40. Let me look at the daily. Where's our next resistance on the daily time frame? Well, in all reality, $40 wouldn't be that crazy for AVAX, considering the fact it was at 146 a long time ago. So our next macro resistance, though, on the 3-day, I would say is about $65. I see very strong support at $18. I know that's a very long ways away to the downside, but AVAX looks very bullish to me, and I see AVAX going to $40, and probably in the next month going up to that next target at $65. So, I don't know what's going to happen next, but it looks like we could see a massive pump on AVAX here sometime in the next 30 days. That's my update. Thank you for that request. AVAX looks good to me. APT and XRP. APT is like awful. So like if this looks, yeah, man, I'm all set on APT. It looks awful. It looks like it's making lower lows. And if you really want me to do analysis on this, it's making a bear flag. Okay, I'm done with it. That's going lower. So there's your measure move. Hopefully you saw that. I'm not looking at that anymore. APT looks like it's about to make a new low. So, but I do like XRP. XRP on the daily looks like you could go up to about $4.56. Still this massive falling wedge on the daily time frame. It still looks good to me, and we could get a pump here. So appreciate the likes on YouTube. Let's pump them up. But yeah, so XRP looks good to me that we can get that move to the upside here on the daily time frame up to about $4.50. Hey, how's it going, Fred? Hold on, I'll be right back in 10 seconds on TikTok. Just gotta double check something. Okay, so yeah, I see XRP, getting that pump up to about 450. Let me check the 4 hour time frame right now. 4 hour is below the 200. So it might take some time, but the daily still looks okay to me. He tried to get that pump up there to 317, and then he kind of fell right back down, almost took out that low, and you held it. So can this be a bullish retest, or are we going to break down? If you break 2.7, it's game over, and your pump is over, and you're going to go to 241. If you hold 2.7, I still think we're okay to be in the flag with move eventually to 4.6. If you lose 2.7, though, the trade, in my opinion, should be over. A stop loss at 2.69 or lower would make sense, not financial advice, but that's how I would play this XRP trade. That's why I would put my stop losses below 2.7. If you hold that level, I could see it getting a move eventually higher to $4.6. So, thank you for the request, Ryan. It does look good to me. Yeah. Is there any other requests? Let me know, and I'll look at them. But it does look kind of, to me, like XRP doesn't want to go high. Let's go back to the one shitcoin that I was trying to trade. Well, we already looked at Bitcoin. If you missed the analysis on Bitcoin, how about you go back to the beginning of the live stream and rewind it, which you could do on YouTube. You'd have to go over to my YouTube channel. the longer I look at this scam token, it looks like this is just going to be a rising wedge and we're going to dump. So that's not very good for me. We'll see what happens. Bitcoin right now rolling over. At this point, I'd be looking for that move down to 108 though. So if you really want my analysis without, if you want the in-depth analysis, you have to go back to the beginning of the live stream. But at this point, if this, then that. If we don't crack 113.1 by 7 p.m. Central Time in 40 minutes, I see Bitcoin eventually rolling over to 108. So thank you for That's I'm supposed to let you guys know on TikTok you can get daily points, bonus points after completing all daily missions. Don't know what that means, but I see that message quite a bit. I don't know what that means. So that's kind of what I wanted to go over tonight. I see more downside for the markets. It's unfortunate though. Bitcoin down. It's likely that this trade on AVNT is going to roll over as well as this whatever this is. I don't know what this is, but that's kind of my update on the markets right now. 1 hour has a buy signal on AVNT. The 2 hour, 2 hour doesn't quite yet, but it is bouncing on the smaller time frames. I think AVNT could be the coin to watch for the next 7 days. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my call for the week. That's all coin to watch. AVNT. It was actually just listed on quite a bit of exchanges yesterday, so and I think market cap's roughly about $500 million. So I think it has potential to go up quite a bit. I know some of its competitors right now, the market cap's around 40 billion, so that's 80x away from here. Not saying that's happening. I'm just saying it's potential in the next year or two. So, how about Pengu? I have no clue what Pengu is. What is Pengu token? Okay, guys. Pengu looks atrocious. That is gonna pump though. That's an ugly falling wedge, but that is a falling wedge. You're above the daily 200. Pengu looks okay. Yeah, I would be looking for Pengu to probably pump, but you gotta get a local bottom here on like the 4 hour. And you have to confirm it. So this is a falling wedge that could break to the upside. Measurement is basically 4 cents. That is a 25% pump. That's an ugly falling wedge. I mean, that's pretty bad price action. I don't love that falling wedge. It could just keep easily dumping. Let me look at the 1 hour. That's not great. I think it looks good though on the 15 and the. I would call that it's an ugly falling wedge, but I do think that's probably your bottom there, short term at 28. So Pengu right now probably could actually get an okay pump back to the upside. 4 hour looks very bullish in my opinion. 6 hour looks extremely bullish. 8 hour looks even better. 12 hour doesn't look great yet, but it looks like it's about to be great. So, you know what? Thank you for this request. Even though it's kind of sloppy price action, and to me, it's a weird falling wedge where you're just kind of going straight down. But at the end of the day, that's a falling wedge, and this could easily, in my opinion, pump with the stop loss below 2.8. A stop loss actually would be below 288, not 28, 288. So that'd be a pretty close stop loss. You know what? For shits and giggles, let's set up a trade on this, and maybe I'll take this trade after the live stream. Yeah, let's do that. I like that idea. Okay, so let's just say that your take profit's up there at 39.30. We'll do 39 to be conservative, or right below 39. Your stop loss would be right there, right? Maybe right below that wick. Other exchanges might be a little different, but this has a risk to reward of 5. That means you take this trade 4 times, and if the 5th trade you finally win, but the first 4 times you lose, you break even. If you win this trade 2 out of 5 times, you'd be profitable. So at the end of the day, this is actually a pretty good setup. Stop loss, I would say would be 288. Take profit would be 0.03. I would say 0.039 really could be your take profit. And that's a pretty good trade setup. So thank you for that request. Pengu actually looks good to me. And I love where the 8 hour time frame's at. That is beautiful. Stock hours like just about to get oversold. I gotta say, this could be another great trade for the week. So Pengu and AVNT could be the altcoins I would watch over the next 7 days. But Pengu, I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna have to add that to my watch list because it does look pumpable, and I am gonna, you know what? I'm gonna take along on that after the live stream in a few minutes. So yeah, it looks good. So welcome guys to the end of the live stream. They'll make 50 million this year. We just stuffed in Pengu at the Walmart and Target. What do you? I don't know what that means. But anyways, are they a real life business? That's actually even more bullish if they are. So anyways, I see Pengu getting a nice pump over the weekend or over the rest of the week. It is Monday, so yeah, that trade looks like something I will be trading. I will be taking this trade tonight, guys. I will be. And then you'll find out when I go live on Saturday if I won the trade or not. Or you could just, I mean, I guess you would know as well if you took the same trade. But that's it looks good to me for a long. So thank you for the likes on YouTube. I appreciate it. Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to kind of wrap up the night. It really is. I appreciate you guys stopping by. They're a real life business. That's awesome. I appreciate that. To me, that looks just as bullish as AV&T. So, yeah, I like that trade setup, and I'll be taking that trade. So I guess I'll be in 3 altcoin trades: Pengu, AV&T, and whatever this is, however long this one lasts. If you lose 19.8, then the trade's over anyway. So anyways, that's my update. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your Monday. I'll be back live on Saturday night for another live stream. Feel free to join the Telegram group so you can stay up to date whenever I go live. And make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you hit the bell notification so you get notified every time I post a video and go live. I'll be posting a few TikToks on my TikTok channel tomorrow just for the heck of it. So be on the lookout for that with updates on the markets, because I believe there could be some big news going on with Bitcoin tomorrow. If something crazy happens, I'm going to make a video about it. So that's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your night, and thank you guys for stopping by. Again, the trend's your friend until the end. Right now, the trend on Bitcoin is to the downside, so be careful. I see Bitcoin going down to 108 eventually. If that happens, unfortunately, all these altcoin trades I just gave you could get annihilated. So just be careful. Always use a stop loss, and have a great rest of your night. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Good night. Okay.